All right. Hello, everyone. Can you hear me? I see the port and I see awakening swap and I see WSPN. Can you guys hear me?
Yep, hi, can hear you loud and clear.
Hi, loud clear on
All
my
right.
side as
Great.
well.
I know, can hear you.
Perfect. All right. Great. So I think we can now, or would you like us to wait a minute or two?
Whenever you are ready, sir.
All right, that's perfect. And I think we should give it 2 more minutes to have the audience. And I think it would be nice if every one of the guests could make a retweet of the space in order to get your community notified that you are here and we have started. And in the meantime, I would like to plead with the community to make a retweet of the space and make sure you follow all the guests. Follow all the official accounts up here and invite your friends. All right. Let's just give it 1 more minute and we'll start. All right. I see a lot of familiar faces and I see the community. Guys, keep sending in those emojis, keep sending in those hearts, and thank you for joining everyone today. So yep, I think we can start now. Yeah, I think we can start now. All right. Good morning, good afternoon, and good evening, everyone. Thank you for joining today's AMA. With three different guests, we have the Portkey, WSPN, and AwakenSwap. And I am not your host for today, and this is Crypto Post AMA. So can the guests do us the privilege of introducing themselves one after the other? Maybe we could start with Portal Key, and then WSPN, and AwakenSwap in that order.
All right, sounds good. Thank you, North. So, hi guys, my name's Nick, and I'm with Portkey. So, who we are? So, we are actually a wallet, and we are built on the ELF blockchain. So, we are the first AA account extraction wallet in the ELF's ecosystem, and they've incubated us and supported us along the way through the development. And what we are is that we try to facilitate the migration of users, developers, and projects who are based from the, say, Web 2 world to the Web 3, and we try to utilize the decentralized identity solution. And of course, what sets us apart is that we try to bridge in and build on the user's preference for simplicity and reducing the barriers of entry when they come into the Web3 space, and also when they come, or if the users are not known on how to come into the crypto scene, yeah, we are the perfect solutions for them to basically start off with a wallet space, and then after that, I'm learning how to come into the Web3 space, and of course, for projects and builders who can also use us to bridge between the Web2 to Web3 retail users as well. So yeah, that's me.
Perfect. Now let's have thank you Alex for that. And now let's have WSPN. I really do want to know the full meaning of this. So if you could maybe introduce.
Hey North, can you hear me? Hey North, so sorry, can you hear me?
Yeah, we can hear you.
Okay, so sorry, I think I dropped off a while earlier. Sorry, if you need any more information, do let me know. But thanks everybody for joining this AMA. Great to be here and thanks for having me as well. So GM everybody, my name is Brian. I'm a product manager at WSPN. I think North mentioned he wants to know what WSPN stands for. In short, it's actually the Worldwide Stablecoin Payment Network. And for those who might not know, WSPN is basically the stablecoin issue of WUSD. We are USD fiat-backed stablecoin, and really excited to share some upcoming updates over the course of the AMA. Thank you.
Yeah, I guess it's my turn now. GM, everyone, time to wake up. This is Mr. Woke. We are from AwakenSwap. We are the first AMM DEX on ELF blockchain, and our goal is to make it accessible for everyone to access DeFi and awaken the sleeping DeFi world. And back to the host.
All right, great. Sorry about that. Can you hear me now? Because for a moment I couldn't hear you, so I had to quickly jump off and come back. Oh, great! And thank you for the introduction. Awakening Swap. Sorry, I didn't really catch your name. Can you maybe tell me? So,
I am Mr. Woke from
oh,
AwakenSwap here.
all right, great, Mr. Walk. All right, thank you. I think we should go straight down into the questions for today. So I have a couple of questions from my end. And the MA will be in two sections. Firstly will be the question and answer from both myself and the guest, and then the next would be questions from the audience. So, audience, if you have question, make sure to retweet the space, follow the guest, and also send in your request because we would be bringing a couple of participants to ask their question directly. Now, moving to the first question which I have, and what are the most common reward application of payments and crypto wallets today? So, the guests can just simply go one after the other and take turns in speaking. Thank you.
Nick,
All
do you want to
right.
go first?
All right, thanks. I guess the most common real-world applications for digital payments would be remittance, and of course, why? Because cross-border payments actually used to be quite expensive, especially when you have to do telegraphic transfers, and if you're basically transferring a small amount of money, it is quite a painful experience. So crypto has come into this market and field where we try to bridge the gap of cross-border payments through the accessibility. And of course, the technology allows transfer of finances, be it any tokens that you want through your you could say wallet or your chain in a much cheaper and faster manner. So this benefits a lot of people, and of course those coming from unbanked countries, or rather you could say a more less developed world. And remittance is really important because it does help to basically build wealth and reduce the disparity as well. So I would say remittance would be one of the most say common real world applications. We do it in the traditional field through you could say internet banking, or you want to transfer online to your friends basically bank account. It's the same thing. But of course, when you have to do cross-border payments, it is a much more, you could say, tedious process. And digital payments in the crypto world has made it much easier for users to transfer funds and of course to receive them as well. So I guess WSPN does have could say a token that also assists in that way because it is I think he will explain a bit more. But I think I would just stop with this one point first on remittance, and I'll let the others just share their thoughts as well.
Definitely, definitely. Thank you for that. Now we can have that from the other guest. Maybe we can go in this order: Portkey, WSPN, and Awakening. Thank you. Okay, over to you, WSPN.
Thanks, Nick. I think you basically covered one of the most common, or actually the most common real application. On our end, I mean, WSPN is the issue of a stable coin. The difference between stable coins and other tokens is a stable value. So technically, a stable coin is basically a just transactional currency. These transactions, they cover anything and everything. Of course, the cross-border payments is a very big use case for us as well. Web3 and digital asset markets, e-commerce, those are things that we basically specialize in. But something that has been interesting and that has caught my interest recently, and something that we are also exploring internally, has also been within the commodities trading scene. So how can we actually use stable coins as well as smart contracts to basically drive innovation within the digital settlement space for the commodity industry. Basically, what we're going to do is reshape the landscape of smart contract execution on commodity derivatives as a start, and eventually get to a point where this becomes the norm for transactional settlements. AwakenSwap to you.
Hey, thanks guys. So both speakers had very good points. I would like to expand upon what Nick said about the unbanked side. So one of the one of the most common use case we are starting to see now is the use of decentralized finance, or DeFi for short, right? So in younger generations, we start to see people replacing or using DeFi as an alternative as compared to traditional banking or traditional finance, simply because there are better financial inclusion in that sense. Yeah. So, and also, of course, secondly, better yield generation as compared to TradeFi. So one of the most classic examples would be, for example, to store your money in the bank, right? In a very traditional bank, you get a very small percentage return, maybe 0.05 or even less, right? But in a DeFi savings account, you do get something quite substantial, I would say. Even if you are just putting aside or staking in this case, staking stable coins like what our friends from WSPN mentioned. Yeah, staking of stable coins, you do get a sizable amount of APY, and that's the trend that we see in younger generations across the world, especially in countries where they have a more volatile, I would say, national currency. Right? They will store US stable coins in their smart contract in their MetaMask or Portkey wallet, and then from there they earn a decent amount of yield from there, and that essentially becomes their banking account. Yeah, so that is one of the things that I myself see as being the common real world usage of crypto wallets and digital currency.
Perfect, perfect. Thank you, Alex, Nick, and working for that amazing response to the question. Now, moving to the next question, which I have here, which industries have been most transformed by the digital payment and crypto wallets?
Okay, I would think um, there's two ways, but I'll focus more on the retail side of things. So in retail, you had those that want to spend in terms of entertainment. So that would be like the gaming industry. So that's how you have lots of say crypto games that are utilizing wallet payment services and of course wallets to basically enhance the game experience and of course utilizing the in-game tokens and assets to run the game. So that would be under the vertical of GameFi. And wallets play a very, we say, crucial part to ensure that the users, you could say, funds are actually stored, and it is their own funds because it is your own, you could say, value and dollars with your crypto tokens, your NFTs. So gaming with rewards and trying to ensure there's a seamless user experience from bridging between the wallet and the user identity into the game is the hot topic right now, which is your GameFi. And the next one I would say with digital payments would be retail. So as we try to bridge the Web2 to Web3 scene for users such as ourselves, because we understand the difference between the TradFi Web2 and now we know the you could say the crypto scene, which is the Web3 area. Retail products are trying to basically enter into the market as well. So we've seen certain applications that accept cryptocurrencies as payments. So for example, if you do see that traditional fields such as booking of you could say, flight tickets or travel expenses. I think there's a crypto company that's also providing that. It's Travala, so they allow cryptocurrency payments across their, you could say, page, and this allows retail users to basically come on board as well onto the whole Web3 scene. So yeah, in my experience, it's quite transformed in the GameFi and the, you could say, travel space.
Perfect, perfect. Let's have the opinion of Nick. Hello, Nick. Can you share more light on that?
Oh no, I'm Nick.
Oh, sorry. Yeah, let's have I thought you said you were Alex, and yeah, oh sorry. So let's have that from the other guests.
Hi, I'm Brian from WSPN. Thanks a lot, Nick. I think what you shared is basically what we see and feel most from the retail side. Maybe from our angle as a stablecoin issuer, because we only deal with enterprises. I think, in my opinion, what is the industry that's been transformed the most would likely be between the banking and financial services. This is going to be both at the enterprise as well as at a retail level. So I think just now Mr. Woke shared a bit on the unbanked, the whole concept of unbanked being able to have an alternative route to then store their money, how are they going to keep stablecoin, how are they going to ensure that stablecoin is a different or alternative asset class to basically your current fiat system, where you can potentially earn the yield on top of also escaping basically the inflation cost of different local currencies. Today, within the news that we have gotten as well, one of Singapore's biggest local bank, DBS, they also rolled out a treasury token pilot program. This is something we have also been seeing many enterprises do. They have also started to diversify their treasury holdings to basically earn more yield on top of what they have currently right in the bank. And I think this is something that we have been seeing enterprises been more willing to accept over the last couple of years as well. On the more unique end of things, I do think that real estate is a industry that has been a lot of chatter on whether they can potentially tokenize this real estate, and what's the potential exploration on that front. Hopefully that plays out within the next couple of years. Over to you, Mr. Wook.
Hey, great answers from both teams. So I'll go one level higher and share. Basically, any industry can be transformed with digital assets and crypto wallet, because technically what blockchain does is it introduces digital trust, right? Because of its immutability, decentralization, and transparent factors. And with that, any industry with the quote unquote middleman to facilitate trust can and will be transformed or impact in one way or another. So going down into traditional finance or and DeFi, right? Again, to use the borrowing and lending example, if you look at having an account, borrowing and lending in a traditional sense, right, where you deposit money into a bank, that is technically borrow, supplying money to the bank to borrow to lend out, right? You get very small returns. Same thing on the other side, when you lend from a bank, the interest rates are phenomenal, right? And this is because they have a lot of overheads, they have a lot of in a way middleman fees, etc. And same thing. You look at borrowing and lending. In a borrowing and lending protocol, they have very transparent rate, like how much they have in the bank, how much they can take in to supply, and how much they can take in to lend out. Yeah, so all these are very transparent, and the middleman fees are almost very little. I wouldn't say there is none, but there is very little, because the protocol will still need to earn its money, there's still gas fee, etc. So with that being said, you can see how, in the traditional sense, um, pro, I would say functions of a bank are technically being replaced in, I would say, a blockchain world or Web3 world. Yeah, but of course, traditional finance will not be 100% replaced with DeFi. In my head, they would kind of coexist in a competitive and sometimes synergistic way. Uh, Very similar to what Brian said earlier, where real estate is something to look at because the traditional market for real estate will still be there, but having real estate come on chain will be something interesting to look at.
Definitely, definitely. That was a really, really amazing point from you. So thank you so much, Nick, Brian, and Walker. Now moving to the next question, which I have: how do digital payments and crypto wallets enhance convenience for customers compared to the traditional payment methods?
Brian, I'll let you go first.
Okay. I think on our end, what we are looking at is really in speed and accessibility. And maybe just a bit of alpha here as well. One of the markets that we have been looking at has also been within the African region. This is going to be quite interesting because what we have realized is the unbanked so-called nations, or even sometimes they are banked, but the locals might not necessarily trust their local banks holding custody of their money. I would say that digital payments and crypto wallets go a long way in helping them establish this trust and also provide them the access to use or to make payments without having to visit either the banks or ATM or even holding cash itself. Of course, you're talking about fees, you're talking about 24/7 availability to trade. I personally like it as an individual. I can trade my meme coins, I can trade my tokens anytime I want. So it's something that I personally really appreciate. Within the crypto wallet space, I think what you guys are doing with account abstraction is something that the space needs to progress. I'll let you elaborate on that. But those are some of the changes that I see that have been progressing within a space that potentially would be the solution for mass adoption in the near future.
Perfect, perfect. Thank you so much for that. Now, let's move to the order. Do you have anything, Nick and Walker?
I guess what Brian said is true, that the user control is actually really important because users want to feel that they own their funds in their own wallets, and you could say simplified and unified experience of a wallet helps to bring, you could say, trust on the user who's using it. So there are lots of wallets out there, but some can be quite complex in terms of the design, UI, UX, and some can be very complex in terms of the functions and the tabs that the wallet provides. So we as Portkey, we try to simplify these kind of experiences by making it simple, and of course, try to provide as much as we can a seamless and user-friendly experiences for users all across all regions. But of course, we do take into effect and comments from other users in terms of what they want to see. So trying to find the balance of giving users what they want for, you could say, consumer transactions, and of course, when they provide digital payments through either crypto or through TradeFi, it's a very fine line. Why I say that? Because crypto is a very young industry as compared to traditional banks who already have digital payments. So sometimes we like to compare between these two, you could say, verticals, and it can be a bit, I say, unfair in that sense. Unfair to the crypto world with crypto wallets because we just came in and we have to try to find a way to bridge the gap for getting retail users who are more familiar with traditional fields to come across to ours. And you could say we as a crypto wallet company slash product, our market outreach is more globalized than you would say, a domestic bank who provides this kind of services. So by creating a seamless experience, like I say, user control through global outreach, we do try to take in market share from, you could say, traditional players, and it can basically cause, you could say, issues from domestic banks. But it's not our issue. Portkey, what we try to do is we try to make a wallet for the masses, and of course, simplicity, right? So we want to bridge users from the Web2 scene to Web3 scene. So that's why I would say based on your question, that is what sets us apart from the traditional payment methods. Yep.
That's a brilliant one. All right. Yeah, go ahead.
Yeah, so I think Brian and Nick shared a lot about the convenience that digital wallets bring to people. So I want to go one level deeper, right? So Nick also mentioned something about the inconvenience that sometimes digital wallet, especially crypto wallets, bring. Yeah, so I want to go one step deeper and say that this is something that both everyone in the Elf ecosystem is very aggressively trying to tackle, right? And thankfully, with Portkey and their innovation, they managed to kind of embed a crypto wallet into Telegram, and that's one of the few things that we are building on right now. So if you go to Telegram and you search for AwakenSwap bot, you can actually access both our application, our the app, as well as your Portkey wallet together. So that's something that we are actively we are going one step further. In fact, we are going one step further to enhance convenience for everyday consumer that is using crypto wallets. Actually,
That's amazing. That's amazing. And thanks to our guests for that amazing responses. Now moving to the fourth question. How have the blockchain technology impacted the traditional banking and financial services?
yeah.
Maybe we could have Nick first.
No worries. I'll go
Oh,
first,
great.
right? So I think in my earlier answers, I covered a lot about traditional banking versus DeFi. Yeah. So I think this is one level higher. So what is the impact of blockchain technology on traditional banking? So I think again, let me stress, DeFi is not here to replace traditional finance. It will go side by side as we are seeing right now. But of course, it does bring some competition to traditional finance in terms of transparency, in terms of speed, in terms of decentralization, accountability, innovation, even, right? So these are a few things that impacts banking, traditional banking. It does give transparency in a way that because everything is recorded in the ledger in whatever blockchain scanner that you're using, that kind of brings transparency on who is moving money where and where is your money going, right? That's something that traditional finance don't have yet. And as you know, in the last financial crisis, that's one of the reasons why is because there's no transparency and accountability of where money is being routed. Yeah. The another thing that I want to emphasize is innovation, right? I think through DeFi, because DeFi with Ethereum is programmable money. That's how it all started. Programmable money, that's where people become more creative in how they are doing DeFi. One of the most innovative things I have seen is basically splitting your yield from your principal capital itself, basically liquid staking derivatives, right? So I think that's something that is really interesting and really innovative that I think DeFi has to offer, which I think in traditional finance they haven't done that yet.
Sounds great. Sounds great. Thank you for that. Do you have any other thing to add? Maybe Nick and Brian?
Maybe I'll go first. Nick, you can add on if you see anything that's missing. Something that I really like, I think Mr. Wook has covered most of the key benefits. Something I really like is the tokenization of securities. I'm not quite sure if the demographic of audience here is aware, but actually most people all around the world, they do not actually have the opportunity or even the access to say invest in UST bills. So I think with blockchain and recent developments, of course, the tokenization of securities have became way easier than before. You have companies now like OpenEden, DGFT. Those are two of the partner companies that we are working with as well. They are basically pioneering the tokenization of assets, of securities, allowing these different securities to be traded on chain. This, of course, is going to provide security, transparency. But I think what it really differentiates itself from the traditional market is greater liquidity as well as fractional ownership. These are key elements that we have been seeing that these unbanked countries that will really benefit as an emerging market. The other things I think from the previous cycles that we have also learned from are concepts such as your decentralized insurance providers, or even things what like VChain is doing on the supply chain financing side of things. Yep, that's my 2 cents.
Thank you for that. Yeah, Nick, go
I
ahead.
totally agree with what both speakers said. Blockchain technologies have basically removed the barriers of entry for retail users to come into the whole trading scene as well. Because you see, I think in most countries, such as in the EU and in the States, trading for an individual, you have to have a certain, you could say, capital to play with, followed by the restrictions in terms of the KYC and how much you can basically trade. So blockchain technology within the current TradeFi and DeFi space, we have allowed kind of like younger people to get their hands into trading and of course understanding how the financial markets work. That is what I would think. It's kind of brought, you could say, light to the youngsters because it is slightly more risky, but you could say it has definitely impact traditional banking and of course the financial services. And by allowing, you could say, a different demographic to come into the scene based on age, you like what Brian said, provides more liquidity within the market. But of course, this is now within a different vertical. It's now within the blockchain scene and the blockchain space. And it basically allows finances in terms of funding and say value of funds to be basically traded across all verticals and asset classes. So blockchain does not limit a single asset class. You have fractionalization of commodities. You have it in traditional T-bills, or you could say stable coins, as well as in projects that you can basically trade and try to find a niche that you believe in the project, and of course where you feel that has better, you say, benefit to you as a user and to the retail space.
Amazing. Thank you for that. Moving to the next question, which I have. How do digital payments and crypto wallets promote financial inclusion, especially in underbanked regions? Did you get
Yeah,
the question,
I'll go
or would you
first.
like
Yeah.
me to? Oh,
So I think promoting financial inclusion, first thing first is I think we can all admit that in less, I would say, unbanked regions, banking is not common. I mean, obviously, right? So having DeFi, you do not need to have a physical bank. You could just open up your wallet, have your assets there, go on with your degen activities. I think that is the biggest selling point of DeFi in that sense, right? Because you are not restricted in any way as in a crypto wallet to have any kind of assets. That's number one. And number two is that now mobile penetration is at its highest right now, right? Even in developing countries, even especially in unbanked countries as well, unbanked regions as well, right? And a lot of these crypto wallets as well as DeFi applications that we see, they are created mobile first, and that really opens up a whole, I would say, geographical region for people who don't have access to a laptop, don't have access to a bank, easily come on board and have access to DeFi and crypto assets for that matter. Yeah, so highly bullish on any DApps that are built mobile first.
perfect, perfect. And let's hear the opinions from the other guests.
Maybe I'll go first. I think what Mr. Wook shared is very true. Mobile only debts have been all rising. My take on this is really mostly on the wallet side, because wallet is basically the gateway to whatever you want to do on chain. So in this case, I mean, you have wallets that offer trading services, swap services, liquidity pool, you want to do staking, whatsoever, is all done via these crypto wallets right now. So it really makes it very, very easy to actually access all these different, what we call financial services. The other part where I think the mindset is important is it gives the feeling of empowerment to users. Because end of the day, they are managing their own assets. This is very different from them keeping money in the bank where they are just seeing a digital balance. Yes, we see a digital balance, but we actually own these assets. It's not going to be owned by the bank that use the money for other purposes. Something that has been taking off within the Solana ecosystem, and I think Elvis might be working on it as well, is also within the micropayments sector. I think what Solana has been doing with the blinks is pretty interesting. End of the day, I'm just going to be as a individual content creator, as an individual retail user, I'm able to create my own blink, execute maybe a small service or execute a art, a research paper, whatsoever. Just provide this blink link, and eventually I'm able to receive payment from this as well. So via all these different digital payment methods, these different crypto wallet payment methods, I do think it unlocks quite a big potential in terms of how the world is going to function in the future, because everything is really so convenient.
Perfect. Thank you for that. So, anyone else has anything to say, or we could just move to the next?
I think both speakers have mentioned most of the points across. It's really well regarded that the unbanked regions sometimes it's quite costly for fund transfer, as we mentioned above. Yeah, so I guess we are trying to break the walls and allow more users to come on board through simplicity and, of course, to basically allow us to have control of our finances. Yep.
All right, great. Thank you, Mr. Walk, Nick, and Brian. So, let's move to the next question. This is a really interesting one. So, how do you ensure the security of transactions made through digital payments and crypto wallets?
Okay, I think I'll go first. I think for the most important thing would be, I think for all wallets would be encryption, right? And it really depends on the hash of the encryption methods and what kind of encryption that they want to do. But for Portkey, what we've done is our features is that we have our wallet's an account abstraction wallet, so it's an AA wallet where we allow users to use the programmable wallets as on their own chain account, and basically, we eliminate the need for private keys and seed phrase management while unlocking the functionalities. So instead of relying on these private keys, the user accounts in Portkey, they are managed by the addresses stored on the local devices that users have signed up with. And of course, due to ease of access, where we provide social recovery methods through guardians and of course through verifiers, where users can also simply just sign up with Portkey through like what was mentioned earlier, the Telegram account or through their Google ID or Apple account. It makes it very easy for users to come on board. And of course, we want to ensure there's a seamless, you could say, user experience. And of course, all of these are all, you could say, encrypted, and of course we provide you could say a sense of security to the user so that they don't feel that there could be any form of manipulation or you could say hacking possibilities within you could say the wallet and digital payment space within each wallet. And along that, with Portkey is also integrated ZK tag in it as well, so that's kind of like an additional layer of security that gives say users the sense of confidence that the wallet works and it's basically for them. I think as much as we try to match the you could say the sense of security that most traditional wallet spaces such as your traditional banking accounts actually have it, we try to implement the same set of additional benefits or common benefits that you have already had in your traditional banking wallet, such as your biometric authentication and of course limitations of funds that can be transferred in and out of your wallet. So we try to make sure that by implementing both new technology and familiar technology that retail users have, it gives us and the users you would say an additional sense of security to ensure that the transactions or you could say fund transfers through digital payment and through our wallet Portkey basically is users first, and of course, security is you could say A star, North Star. We don't want to make sure that funds are lost, so we want to make sure that users basically feel the confidence, and that we as the wallet of choice would basically listen to you guys, and your wallet and your tokens are yours as well. Cheers.
Great one, Nick. Great one, Nick. Thank you. Does anyone else have something to say about that?
Maybe I can just chime in from a user standpoint. I'm no expert. I'm no expert in this. Nick is probably the guy that you guys should heed advice from. But as an individual user, I think definitely have your 2FA on, double check, triple check whichever contract addresses or contracts that you are interacting with. Install things such as your Pocket Universe, just to make sure that things are safe. Understand how to read these contracts. I mean, eventually, the best security is definitely cold storage. On our side of things, when we deal especially with institutional clients, is definitely cold storage handling of these funds, as well as using basically reputable and safe custody solutions to ensure that all these transactions are safe. Some of the key kind of SOPs that we have also include whitelisting different wallets, different wallet addresses. I think today as well I heard there's this concept of address poisoning, which seem to revive as well, where different wallets basically they have the same text, but when you convert them to hexadecimal character encodings, you can actually see that there's a difference in wallets. So do take note. But as a user, I think you have to get rubbed, you have to get drained a couple of times to understand how the game is played, and that's just a rite of passage, lah. Yeah.
Yeah, so on
All right.
our side is really relatively easy. How do we ensure security of transaction? First of all, we have gone through security. Obviously, is a very big thing, especially as a DEX. So we have gone through one round of audit and more to come. So the first round of audit is done by Zelig, which is very, very reputable in the space. That's number one. And number two is that being built on ELF, we also inherit the security features of ELF as well as Portkey. So more on the Portkey side of things, every single security, I would say, feature is imposed on every debt that integrates Portkey as well. So whatever Nick just shared earlier, all these restrictions are imposed on us. So we do what we can, we do to the best of our abilities to meet up to that security expectation that Portkey has. Yeah, so 2 layers of security over there.
Sounds perfect. And do we move to the next question, or does anyone have something to add to that? All right. Yeah, I think we can move to the next question, and this will be the last question for the segment. And community, do get your questions ready. Our guest would be ready to answer. Now, moving to the next question, what's emerging trend do you see in the real world application of digital payments and crypto wallets? Did you get the question?
Maybe I'll go first, just to wrap things off. One of the visions that long-term thesis that our founder has is actually in the convergence of AI as well as crypto. So we believe that in the long term, autonomous agents within the AI space are going to be a norm. So think of it as I'm trying to book a cab ride from my hotel to maybe the airport. I wouldn't need to scour through 3-4 different apps just to find what's the cheapest, what's the fastest route. And all these will all be done via autonomous agents. However, they're not going to pick up their credit card or even cash or check to execute this payment. The payment transaction settlement will actually be a convergence between possibly stablecoin as well as the different service providers that will eventually receive this. So that's one of the trends that we are pursuing, and it's something that we see becoming more and more of a reality in this day and age. The other big trend, or I would say is really a norm, is really in the cross-chain interoperability of different chains, and it's actually supported by these different crypto wallets. We see transaction settlement using the Solana chain, we see transaction settlement using Polygon chain, and how all these have been working together should be a long-term should be a very similar solution between the different parties or different infrastructure providers, especially on the wallet end, to be able to support. Something that I'm personally am looking forward to is how account abstraction can solve this, or will chain abstraction actually come out on top. So I've been also looking at, say, Particle Network recently to see how are they actually making it different, and if the wallets can actually upgrade themselves fast enough to ensure that this user experience is going to be seamless across the different networks. Thank you.
Yeah, so for me, the emerging trend I see in digital assets, I would say, is two things, twofold, and ironically, in both opposite spectrum. So I do see entrance into crypto assets and crypto investments getting lower and lower barrier to entry. So as you can see, there are a lot of protocols who are advertising themselves as a crypto savings protocol, which is really dumbing, I would say, simplifying it to the bare basic, where an everyday person that is new to Web3 could come in and understand exactly what this is about. So lowering that barrier of entry in terms of understanding, in terms of risk, but at the same time still providing a much more attractive value proposition as compared to the banking sector, traditional finance sector. That's one end of the spectrum. On the other end of the spectrum, we get to see more sophisticated, I would say, DeFi strategy or DeFi vault, where um, you get very complex leverage at the same time very high APY. Of course, having all that, you would need to understand the risk behind risk of going into such protocols. Yeah, so these two are like two extreme opposite spectrum, but they are growing at very fast rates. Which first of and also at the same time targeting two very different target audience. First of all, for the very new beginner. Second of all, for the most advanced and sophisticated DeFi users.
All right, great. Thank you for that. Does anyone have something else to add, or we could move to the live community question? All right, great. So, just to make an announcement to the guest, so please feel free to pin whatever information from your accounts or from your projects at the Jumbotron. So if you have something you like to pin at the Jumbotron that you like the community to participate in, feel free to pin it there. So moving to the live segments now, can you thank you so much, Nick from Portkey, and Mr. Walker from AwakenSwap, and Brian from WSPN. So can you check in the audience? You see a lot of persons waving. Can you at random pick anybody? Can you at random just select anyone to, and I'll bring them up to ask their question.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Just look through the audience.
Yeah, just go through the audience. You'll see them waving a lot of participants. I think we have about 75 requests to ask question, and we can only pick five. So maybe you guys can just one after the other pick someone.
Actually, I found a question in the comment section, which I thought was quite interesting. Yeah, so maybe can I just read out his question?
Yeah, sure, you can.
Yeah, so this is a question from Nicole. Did he or she, sorry, it's a she. Yeah, she said that staking programs are very important for any projects. Can I stake your tokens? Do you have any plans of starting a staking program? Yeah, shall we answer that? I think that's relevant for all of us. Yeah.
Yep, definitely.
So yeah, so
And
for Awaken, we do not have any tokens yet. I cannot tell you when the TG will happen. But if you want to start earning some APY, I think the best way is to go onto our page to provide liquidity pairs. So to explain simply, liquidity pairs are staking of two separate assets and contributing liquidity of two separate assets. So when you're swapping from one to the other, there are enough liquidity to facilitate that the exchange of tokens. Yeah. So to answer your question, we do not have one yet, but stay tuned. We have something quite interesting coming up. But in the meantime, if you want to earn some, if APY is your game, do check out our liquidity provider market.
all right, great. And who do you say the question is from again? I've been trying to identify.
Nicole.
Okay, 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 okay,